welcome to the Bluestone Villa. My name is Louisa and I share videos on renovations, interiors and life in our Victorian townhouse. Today I wanted to take you around and share all of the lights that we have sourced for our renovation project over the last 3 years. I know how overwhelming it can be to find the perfect light, and also how expensive it can be, particularly if you're looking for really quite a wow or statement light. And a lot of things that I was looking at, and actually still can sometimes look at, are kind of 300, 400, 500 pounds plus. And quite frankly, I'm not a millionaire and I've got a whole house to do. So something's got to give somewhere, and it's got to be my budget. So my ethos when I've been searching for lighting, and really actually when I search for anything for in my home, or even just for myself a lot of the time as well, is good looking, good quality, well priced. So yeah, that's been my ethos when I've been searching for lights. And actually over this 3-year period, I have found some incredible brands that have become my go-tos that I just really love. I found some great lights. They're people I go back to time and time again, and I wanted to share them with you today because it is proof that you can find beautiful lights that are absolutely perfect for your room without spending an absolute fortune. To give a bit of context around me and who I am and what credentials I have, well, I have absolutely none. I'm not an interior designer, I'm not a professional decorator. I am just really into, yeah, just creating a beautiful home. I have spent an inordinate amount of time searching and trawling websites to find great lighting, and I'm so pleased with everything that we found for here. And so I want to share that with you, so that actually I might be able to take out some of that inordinate amount of time that I've spent and give that time back to you, so you don't have to do all this searching. But before I get started taking you around and sharing these lights with you, I wanted to talk about another brand that really fits in with that ethos as well. Good looking, good quality, well priced, and that is Ana Luisa jewelry. I've had the pleasure of exploring that brand a little bit more over the last few months, and today I wanted to be able to share a couple of items that I've been able to pick out from the brand recently. As I said, they really fit into my whole ethos, in that I truly believe that you should be able to have really beautiful, good quality things without breaking your bank balance, basically. And I think this goes for saying with anything really, not just jewelry, lots of different things, beauty products, fashion, all sorts, is that there can be some huge markups on stuff because of things like advertising and packaging and all of that jazz. And yeah, that's why I was really interested to learn a little bit more about Ana Luisa, because they really are focused on being able to deliver that quality to their customers without all of those markups, so making it way more affordable for you and I, essentially. So yeah, I wanted to share my latest couple of items that I've been picking out. First of all, I have picked out these really cool hoop earrings. What I really loved about these is that I really love like a simple look sometimes, but that has that extra added quirk or slant, something that just makes it that little bit different. So it's not just that regular like bog standard thing, and it just makes it a little bit more you, a little bit more individual. And that's why I really loved these, because they have this little kind of pearl effect here on each of them. I feel like it just kind of dresses it up, elevates it a little bit more, and yeah, I've been loving these. I've also picked up a couple of bracelets, which I will say is quite unusual for me. I don't own a lot of bracelets. First of all, there is this one, which is this kind of chunkier effect, which I love. I also don't wear watches, but I absolutely love kind of a really masculine chunky watch on a woman, and yeah, maybe one day I will have one. So that's really why I liked this. I really loved how chunky it was. I would say this is pretty snug on my wrist right now, and I quite like that, but they did actually come with extra links. Yeah, they did actually come with some extra links, so if you do want to kind of make it a little bit bigger, you can. And then I also picked up this kind of thinner version of the bracelet. I mean, it's not another version, but it's like another kind of chain kind of bracelet, and yeah, I really like how these look together. As I said, they're all about delivering good quality items that don't cost the earth. Actually, they have an incredible sale on at the moment. Obviously it's Black Friday, and if you're on YouTube you probably already know that because everyone's talking about it, but they've got an amazing Black Friday deal. It is their biggest sale of the year, and it is essentially buy one get one 60% off, which I will link in the description below for you. But now let's take you around and show you all about lighting. So I'm actually going to kick off in my kitchen because this was the first room that we renovated, and I'm sat here. I'm actually sat under the lights that I want to talk about. They're not on, but they are my Brooklyn pendant lights, which they were my first love. They were the first light I bought here, and they were also the first time I bought from this particular brand, which honestly has become my absolute go-to for lighting. It's always my #1 brand that I visit as soon as I'm working on a room and I know I need a light for it and I've got a bit of an idea of what I'm looking for. I will always check on this brand's website first. They are an absolute savior. They do incredible lights that I just swoon over, and I wish I had more rooms to fill with more wonderful lights from them, if I'm fully honest. And they are from Indust, which I had never heard of prior to finding them. They came up as an ad on my Facebook or on my Instagram, and I really rate them. Obviously you can probably tell from the name they do industrial style lighting, but yeah, I absolutely adore my pendant Brooklyn lights. I love the reeded glass effect. I really love to be able to see a bit of a light bulb. You'll see that throughout our house as well. And of course I love the brass because there are brass elements running through my kitchen but also running through my whole home. And yeah, I absolutely adore them. They are kind of it is adjustable, the length of the pendant, so you could have them hanging like super low and be really quite edgy and modern and a bit cool with it. I haven't been that but I actually really love where they are sat. They kind of really frame my window beautifully, and yeah, I kind of feel a little bit like I almost purposely put in our like coffee come dining bar purposely just so I could have these pendant lights above it. When we're working on a room, I will go to their website first, and I have got a number of other lights in this house that I've bought from them, which you'll see as we kind of move around. Soon as we start off in the kitchen, I will share with you next our outdoor back door light. Which if you saw our exterior renovation tour recently, then you will have seen this already. This is the first time that I bought from this particular brand that we got this light from, and I would 100% order from them again. I had great customer service in that I had no issues. I ordered it, it came quickly, it was as I expected it to be. Again, good looking, good quality, well priced. This was from Nkuku. It's this kind of like brass fisherman style light, which I actually really love for our back door because since we have painted it in this beautiful blue, our kitchen area is much more cottage-like when you consider the rest of our house is this like kind of imposing townhouse style. It's a really weird like combination, and this just feels quite different, and I feel like this fisherman light really works here. I absolutely love this. It is beautiful. It's very like hard wearing and durable, I would say. It felt quite heavy. It felt like you could probably, I mean, don't try this, but it felt like you could probably take something pretty large to it and try and whack it and it would still be absolutely fine. The reason we opted for this one in particular, because we were actually looking at 2 lights on Nkuku that were kind of a little bit similar. The one that I actually slightly preferred more was a bit cheaper actually at £120, and it was a bit more like rustic, but it was just like the bare glass. And James, I don't know what he was worried about hitting into it, but he had this thing about was worried about something hitting into it, which is why we opted for this one, which was £150. And yeah, I do think it looks beautiful. The only thing I would say is I think, and obviously this is really hard to say because I didn't actually order the other light, so I didn't see it in real life, but I would say the other light maybe looked a little bit more expensive in terms of like the materials it's used, whereas I would say the light that we've got, if you're up close to it, there's a little bit of like a plasticky element to it, but when you're looking at it like a normal person, like stepping away from it, you wouldn't know that at all. Next up, we'll head into my dining room, which, okay, I'm gonna say I'm only on light 3, but I know I said it about my kitchen lights, but actually maybe this is my favorite light. This is single-handedly the most dramatic light I own, and it is a light that gets commented on whenever somebody comes to our house. I looked at this light so much online. I knew I wanted it. I knew I wanted it for our dining room, and God forbid it ever sold out. I actually purchased this light from made.com, and it is this beautiful, I think it's a Starkey chandelier, and I love the hanging light bulbs. I love how it kind of works quite nicely with our kitchen pendants as well. It kind of has that little thread running through it, and as I've already said, I really love like the whole exposed light bulb thing, and this is just beautiful. I love how it just hangs and sits perfectly over our dining room table. Now, I looked at a lot of the customer images on made.com, and I'm gonna put it out there, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but don't do what loads of people on the website have done, because I was a little bit put off. I saw a lot of people like really stretch, because you can basically do anything with this light, right? You can pin it, because you pin it to your ceiling, you've got all the stuff to do it. You could literally pin it anywhere. You could cross them over, you could really stretch them out, and I saw so many people like crossing them over and stretching them out, and like basically just overcomplicating the beauty of this light, in my humble opinion. And yeah, it was really odd. There were some that basically just made it look like a big spider or a big cobweb. I just wasn't really a fan. They were like almost trying to fill their whole ceiling with this light, and I was a little put off, because I was like, do you have to do it like that? But the way they style it on made.com is how I have, which is just that, yes, we have like obviously pinned it up, and it is moved away from like the central point of the light. I don't know what that is called, but it just hangs beautifully. And it really, I mean, our ceilings are quite tall anyway, because obviously it being a Victorian house, but it really kind of adds to like the drama of the room and of the height of the ceiling. And yeah, I love it. Again, it's got kind of like brass themes running through it, and it works perfectly because our dining room uses quite like rich, dark colors, and it's got this kind of Victorian vintage meets like rustic vibe with kind of, I've got like hops around the door and all sorts, and then this kind of like modern warehousey industrial kind of twist. Just it's just perfect. I'm sorry, I'm getting very excited about my own home. Now, I paid, have I told you the price of this? I'm not sure actually. I paid £159 for this light. Hold the phone, £159 for a chandelier, because it is considered a chandelier. I realize it's not like a crystal or big kind of glass chandelier, but it is actually considered a chandelier. And if you can tell me that you can find as nice a chandelier for £159, I will give you a shout out in a video, but I'm telling you now, it's not happening. It's just a really incredibly affordable, statement, dramatic, beautiful, brilliant, really good quality light. And yeah, I can't believe that I own it. I feel really lucky. Let's now move on into our hallway, and I'm actually going to kind of talk about our hallway light and also our front door outdoor light. I'm finding that really difficult today because I bought them both from the same brand, and they are also dupes of Jim Lawrence lights that I really loved. So if you haven't checked out Jim Lawrence lights, you have to check out Jim Lawrence lights. Not now, finish this video and then go and check out Jim Lawrence lights, but his light, I'm assuming it's him, his lights are absolutely stunning, but they are not in my price range, or at least none of the ones that I've seen today. And yeah, as much as I love them, just can't quite often warrant the price tag. So I have tried to shop around a little bit and find a similar light that does the same thing, that gives me the same vibe, and essentially paying less for it. So my hallway light and my outdoor front door light, I actually purchased from Pooky, who is another brand that I would say Pooky and Indust in particular are the two lighting brands that I literally go to every single time and can find something beautiful. And Pooky still does have a few lights, I would say, that are a little bit more on the pricier side, but they do tend to be that kind of like bigger chandelier element. But I managed to pick up this light in the hallway, and I'm gonna really let myself down here because I actually don't know if I can fully remember the price that I paid for this, because I paid for this back in 2019. Let me have a look and see if I can recall. I can't find the exact one, I don't think, but I found one similar, which was £89. I thought I paid a little bit more than that, but perhaps I didn't, which, if I didn't, amazing. That's even better than I thought it was. But yeah, it's incredible. And as I said, was a bit of a knockoff of a Jim Lawrence light. Apologies if you can hear noises. That is James, who has just come home. So the reason I love that light is because it has that kind of reeded glass effect again, and I felt like it had that kind of nice thread between that and the kitchen lights. And yeah, I just think it looks really, really elegant, particularly now that we've got kind of the ceiling rose around it as well. It just looks really smart. It looks kind of a lot more sophisticated maybe than our kind of industrial style chandelier, and I really like that mixing and matching of those kind of different lights, but still having that kind of common theme running through them. And then our front door outdoor light is another Jim Lawrence dupe. I found the most beautiful Jim Lawrence light for our outside. It had this kind of beautiful swan neck with a bit of a hat, a bit like our front door light as well. But it was 300 something pounds, and you may recall if you were around here that obviously we spent a hell of a lot of money doing the outside of our house. So we did have to be like super cautious then about other things that we were spending money on, and yeah, it was not the time to be buying a 300+ pound light. So I found this dupe on Pooky. Actually, Indust also did an incredible dupe. They did a better dupe of like the swan neck style, whereas Pooky's had the hat. The Indust one was just the bare kind of glass bulb effect, and as much as I love that effect, I didn't really want that for my front door light, so I did want the kind of the little hat to go on it. So yeah, I bought that for £136. So I think, again, really incredible value, and yeah, I got that from Pooky as well. So they're great ones for Jim Lawrence dupes, I think. And then we're going to head into our living room, which actually we haven't picked our main light for this, and I am going a little bit rogue because I wouldn't say that this is like the most affordable light, but it is a really cool, quirky light, and I just can't not include it, which is my gorgeous little mouse lamp, which a few years ago when I got this, they were all the rage. They were absolutely everywhere. James got this for me from Rockett St George, and it was, I think, around the £75 mark. Or did my mum buy it for me? Nonetheless, I got it as a gift. So yeah, not super affordable for a really tiny lamp, but I just couldn't not include it because it's just so darn cute. And I kind of move it around my living room. I sometimes like hide it in little places in my bookcase so it looks like a little mouse peeping out, and yeah, I just love it. I'm not over the mouse lamp yet. I still think they're cool. And then when we head upstairs, I'm actually going to combine our middle hallway light with a light in the office, which is on the top floor, which is a room that I still have not shared with you. I literally say that every time I talk about this room. The time will come one day, but you're going to see a bit of a glimpse of it now. I'm going to combine them because they're actually the same light, they're just slightly different sizes. So I bought both of these from Indust. These were incredibly well priced, and they were just the perfect lights for these rooms. So our middle hallway, we actually had like a hanging pendant light, just a really horrible old one that was there when we moved in, and we just kind of left it. But it's a really weird space. It feels quite closed in, and it feels a little bit kind of claustrophobic on that hallway. So actually the pendant light, I felt, just made it seem even smaller. So that's why I've opted actually for a light style that I wouldn't usually go for, which is it's one of those ones that it's a light but without the pendant bit, and it's just kind of almost just comes straight off the ceiling. I'm actually not a massive fan of those in general, but it was required in this situation, and I'm glad that we did get it because it does just kind of give that extra height, and so therefore it just feels so much more open on that middle landing. It is this kind of brass, like almost like tin-like feel to it. I really love how kind of cool and a bit hard it is. Again, it's got that really epic like industrial style. I would say the only thing about it on the middle landing is that it is quite hard and a little bit cold looking, I guess, in a way. And so where we haven't quite got everything kind of finished on that middle landing, I'm not quite sure whether it will like soften a little bit more, and I think it does need to soften a little bit more in that space, but ultimately I think the light's great. And then in James's office, our office, but it's mostly James's room that he does his shiz in. It's a bigger size and it actually is the pendant version. I think it looks really cool. It looks amazing against the stone blue. That really, again, it's kind of like got a bit of a dark, snug-like vibe in that room. The only thing I would say is obviously it funnels light down. So if you're looking to try and brighten up a room, probably not the light for you. That was one thing that we were a bit like, oh, should we maybe have not gone for this light? But I really like the effect. We're kind of living with it because it's a beautiful light in the room and it really is a snug, cozy vibe in there. And then we added another light into that room, which James actually picked out himself from made.com. And again, that really works really nicely in that room. It really works with the industrial light that's already in there. I love that it's like this freestanding, like almost like movie kind of light. And we have that by our desk, which is brilliant because it just adds that extra bit of light when we are feeling that it's a little bit dark in that room. And finally, before we go, the last light I'm going to share with you is in our master bedroom, which we have not moved into yet. It was a light that I bought for James. It is his bedside table light and it is from a really cool local company that does these really quirky, cool lights. And it's a little wooden race car, again with that kind of exposed bulb effect. And yeah, I just think it's a bit different, it's a bit cool, and yeah, it's a local small brand. They do all these lights themselves. They're called Whitechapels of Kent, and they've got some really cool items like watering cans with lights coming out of it. Yeah, really worth checking out if you're into kind of vintage lighting, and I paid £50 for that light. So that about wraps it up. That is all of the lighting that I have sourced, we have sourced, mostly I have sourced over the last 3 years. All of their price points, all of the brands, you'll have seen there's just a few that I'm working with and they've really been amazing for me in terms of they've really delivered on good looking, good quality and well-priced lighting, and they are my absolute go-tos now whenever I'm looking for lights. And yeah, I really don't try, I try not to stray too much from them because of that kind of overwhelming choice element. And yeah, I just know that I'm probably going to find what I want at one of those brands. But I hope you enjoyed today's video and that you maybe were able to discover a new brand that you might like and purchase a light or a piece of jewelry from in the future. Just to remind you, I will drop the link below for Ana Luisa, and as I said, they have an incredible sale on at the moment. It is their biggest sale of the year and it is buy one get one 60% off. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next time.